How are
Hello,
you?
gentlemen. There we go. Everything is finally working. Okay. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Mikey. I just wanted to say good morning and thank you so much for your time. I know it's precious and you guys are heading on to your vacation after this.
Mhm.
But first and foremost, Mikey, I wanted to say thank you for trusting to be working with me because I know Aaron and I have worked together before on this journey. And I'm very blessed to have had the opportunity to meet you. But let me introduce you guys quickly. So Aaron, you are an executive that works at him, so you've got a very stressful job, and you're managing people's personalities all the time. And I hear you're doing pretty well at that, obviously. And you're also a singer on your not working job, so it's a wonderful. A well-rounded individual, so thank you for that. And Mikey, you work for the government, and I have to applaud you for working for the government because we know how challenging that must be. You both have very stressful jobs. And Mikey, you happen to be one of our drag queens extraordinaire, and it's pronounced Horisha Estefan. Is it? That's what it is.
Horia
Horia
Esteban, just
Estefan.
like
See, I'm
Gloria, but her
Horia,
younger
Horia.
daughter,
Yeah,
the drag queen
Horia
younger daughter.
Estefan.
Yeah,
That's great. So not only you guys crazy busy during the week, but your social lives and your lifestyle is very demanding and on you guys. And you guys are an amazing couple, power couple. You're a wonderful, both from Vancouver, which is even awesome. All three of us are
we're
from Vancouver.
together.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I love you guys together. So maybe I'm planting a little seed here.
Yeah, we're together.
I know, I know. All right, so let's just dive into this. We have been working together for 60 days, just slightly over 60 days. And when we came together, Aaron had approached me that you wanted to work on some personalized one-on-one learning about our macronutrients. And Aaron and I have had the privilege of doing this before. And I know, Mikey, you had a really good understanding of macronutrients to begin with and taking care of yourself because you guys both take really, really good care of yourselves. So it was more of a fine tuning things. And we had set our expectations to be, we wanted accountability, a little bit more knowledge regarding our macronutrients. We wanted to focus on your daily habits, lifestyle and scheduling, losing some body fat, which we met that goal, which is wonderful. And we also lost some weight, which is nice as well. But we've gained that transformation because both your bodies have changed quite a bit. And relationship with food, and to limit that guilt if you're out having something to eat, didn't want to feel bad about, and how we can work around our dynamics with food and how we feel about feeding ourselves, and also your relationship together on how you guys are going to help and support each other through this because it could be really challenging when it comes to different needs that you guys both have and how do we bring that together to make it not challenging, right?
Mhm.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the last 60 days. How did it feel when we started working together and being held accountable, really, because that's the tough part, being held accountable for what we discussed that we were going to do for the week. And when I say we, I mean you, right? You guys are the ones to execute, right? So tell me a little bit about it. Whoever wants to jump in.
I think the actual accountability piece like was crucial, but it ended up feeling more like having support, right? Because it's not like I felt like I was going to get in trouble if something went wrong. It was like I had someone who would help us like tweak things if they did go wrong, or be like, how about this as an alternative?
Right.
And so then when we started working together, I liked that we kind of started off with a like not with a bang, but like we started off with like a big push of doing the plant-based cleanse, and that was really important for us to start working together because it was more difficult, and
Right.
it almost like forced us to work together and
Right.
support each other because it was a little uncomfortable to do the cleanse because you've just done like you've just been eating whatever, and then you shift to like plant-based, not eating very much, protein at all, and so it was a bit of a change, but that kind of brought us together. So yeah, I would say think I felt the accountability more as support because then we kept each other accountable, and that was
Right.
one of the benefits of doing it as a couple.
Yeah.
And then of course, yeah. But I think that's my takeaway.
Yeah, I think that just to like add on to that, having like the personalized check-ins weekly was really probably the most beneficial thing for me, to know that there was weekly check-ins with you, Angela. And that actually gave me a bit more motivation to continue on the path of eating and sticking to the plan. And yeah, the support that we had for one another during this has been like monumental. It's been paramount to our success.
Do you guys also believe that, the support, and we'll use the word accountability for a moment, but you had to record what it is that you were doing. You had to make an effort to think about, this is what I need to do for the week. This is what I need to implement into place. This is the time that I have to allocate to go grocery shopping, the time that I had to allocate to make my groceries for the week. Did you guys feel that that was hard to do? Because I know it can be extremely challenging. Did you find it challenging to do it together? Did you find it easy to do it together? Like, what was that part for you?
Yeah, I think that it was definitely easier to have Aaron there to do that, as well as for me to kind of go into a role of reminding him a lot more often to make sure that he was getting those numbers in, and so that held us accountable to one another. So yeah, I think that was definitely was necessary for us to be able to continue on this path.
Did you guys realize the effort that it takes to make yourself a priority when it comes to your nutrition? Did you realize that, because when you're eating as you're going along throughout your day, the thought process of sitting down and, we had a shopping list done up for you. We had food ideas done up for you. And then you guys got very creative because you like to do certain things, and you made the meals that you really enjoyed fit into your macros as well. Did you find in the beginning that was cumbersome just to think it through, or were you really excited to go, okay, this is about me, and this is about me figuring this out for my lifestyle, for what I want? Did you find that enjoyable?
Yeah, it was for sure challenging in different times because you're just used to not thinking about it, or you're used to I was never one who didn't think about it. I always thought about it, but yet I didn't always have the willpower to push through. I also think there's some really major benefit to once you get started with healthy eating, it's way easier to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think having each other to keep us on track made it easier as well. So it is challenging for sure. It's hard to make the shift, but doing it together was really critical, because when you're on your own, you can kind of just fudge it in a way. When you're with someone else, there's an element of almost competition in a way, but not in a bad way. And almost well, he's doing it, so I really have to stay with it. And he, like Mikey, there were several weeks where he was so good, and I was like, oh, you know what? I want to be tempted, but he's just doing so well. And I'm sure the same thing happened for him.
Yeah. Yeah. And then adding myself in the equation, where we were having those weekly meetings, so you wanted to make sure you stayed on track, because I was watching every day and checking in every day, sending a little note here and there, because you got the constant engagement is important. But then knowing that somebody, if there is a slip up, or there is a question of I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, you had that support there, not only through each other, but also with myself there. Did you feel that?
Yeah. Very helpful, yeah.
What would you say was the hardest part? Either one. What was probably the biggest challenge that you had, either of you? They could be together or individual.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge for me was the external factors that were at play here, with friends and eating out and drinking and things like that, as well as I work in the nightclubs, and I work in the club life scene a few times a month. So being able to stick to that and not sort of waver, those were always the challenges. Honestly, I actually feel that I found more support in the nightclubs more than you'd think, because a lot of the performers that I work with, they're all sober. So to stay away from alcohol, that was that was easier to do. But yeah, definitely I would say the friendships there's a lot of friends of ours that don't cook, and they like to eat out all the time, and they really don't think about what they're putting in their bodies, because they maybe don't care as much. So to kind of be surrounded by that and still be able to stick to what we had planned to do, I think that was like just really important for us to have that plan, because if we just had that plan and that preparation, then we would stick to the method more.
Would you say that actually brought you guys closer as a couple?
Yeah.
Of course.
That part of it specifically, I think all of it did, but yeah,
Knowing that you
absolutely.
guys had each other's backs when it came
Yeah.
to the temptations and the maybe not the healthiest choices. You know that, okay, for us, we have to bow out. We have to say no, because that's the hardest part, is learning to say no so you can say yes for yourself, right? We've heard that one many a times. And it's not only just to say yes for yourself too, but in this case, yes for me, no to you, yes for me, but also yes for us.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a big one. And I can honestly say that from our first sit down to get for the three of us and have a conversation about what we wanted to get out, or we as in us get out of this 60 days of working together, I can honestly see there's a transformation in your dynamic as the two of you, and you can really see that there's so much more support and there's so much more loving and caring and kindness, not only for yourselves, you're being kinder to yourselves, but you're also being kinder to each other, and you can really see that in the dynamic. I've been blessed to see that, so good on you guys.
Yeah, I think that's true. And like, so some of the things that are or were hard when I've done, or when either of us have done this in the past solo, um, were made easier by doing it together, right? Like you said, like saying no to stuff became way easier if we were unified. And that's something that I want to keep around, because we actually both like being healthy, and we both like feeling good, and we both like, of course we like treats from time to time, but I think I can speak for myself personally, like I feel better about everything when I'm feeling and feeling good and eating well and taking care of myself in that way. So again, some of those hard things like resisting temptations when you're out with friends, or is like, well, we have each other, we can support each other. And that's that, right? Like it's like it got a lot easier having getting to do it together. So some of those hard things were made easier.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not that you never had the treats. It was
Oh,
just
of
we had to
course.
pick it. We had to pick and choose and make a decision as to when they were going to happen, just so we can allocate for it, right?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, is there anything that you would suggest, or tell somebody that's even contemplating trying something like this or working with me? What would you suggest that they think of, or anything that you would want to bestow your knowledge onto?
Yeah, I would say like for anybody that's, prospectively wanting to work with you, is just that come in with an idea of what you want for yourself, and not so much a physical look and a physical sort of like goal. Those are all great things that you can bring forward, but also kind of just come in with an attitude of like wanting to adjust some things in your life and commit to that, because I think for us doing that, as opposed to having like, obviously the physical changes were on our mind, but actually
Yeah,
wanting to implement new practices and like consistent practices into our life,
yeah,
coming in with that mindset is going to last a lot longer than specifically coming in for 60 days and saying, I want to look like this in 60 days.
exactly.
It's really a longer process than that. So if you commit to yourself in the long run, that's going to serve you well.
So well said, Mikey. And thank you for that, because that's exactly what it is. We've come together to say, yes, we all want to lose weight. That was, making changes in our lives, but it was really about transforming your lifestyle, right? It was transforming, putting those habits into place that were comfortable for you to do, that just become now, this is your new day-to-day life, which keeps you feeling healthier. And both of you guys even noticed this, your skin got better. Your texture of your skin got better. Sleeping patterns really improved. Mobility patterns really improved. Your energy level went up. All these things that we want in our life that we weren't making, oh, we got to fix this, we got to fix that. But those are all the benefits that you get from starting to take care of yourself and start paying attention to what you are putting into your body, right? Right. And that is what our primary focus was, tweaking a few things. We didn't have to transform everything. We needed to tweak a couple of things that you guys can now maintain and sustain. And us moving forward together, we're going to have those monthly, inspirational calls, and we're going to have those to keep you going on track, because you are on track now. You guys are doing, and it feels good what you're doing. And when there's ever a hiccup, I am a quick phone call away, and we strategize together, and we'll smooth out the hiccups, right? Because
Yeah.
that's called life, right?
Yeah, and I agree. I think for me, it was like my advice for other people would be like two parts would be like kind of recognize that doing it this way is not the same as a yo-yo diet. This is not a Dr. Atkins keto, extreme moment that will like push you to lose like 10 pounds in 2 weeks. It isn't that. It's a lifestyle change that will lead to just overall better. And so you might end up eating more than you used to. And that's a thing that your brain needs to get around. I think that that's the thing, is like people need to realize that it's not going to be a boot camp situation. It's building a lifestyle, and it's almost more like a university degree than it is boot camp, and that's better, right?
Right, right.
That's my first one. My second one is, if you're doing this as a couple, like, do it. If you're having trouble with other stuff, start on something that's like, nutrition is something that is like gonna face you every day, and like you're gonna have some conflict with it for sure, but it's better to work on things like that and find ways to collaborate on something. Like Mikey and I don't play the same sports. We don't do all the same things. We have things that bring us together, but doing something like this together, constructive, is good for our relationship as well.
Yeah. Erin, if I can just get you for a minute, give us a little bit about your history, because you have a pretty amazing history when it comes to nutrition and your lifestyle choices that you've made. Do you want to go back to before you even met me?
Yeah,
How
sure.
much?
Well, yeah, in 2009, I weighed 405 pounds. So I originally lost weight, kind of like I was saying, that like extreme. I did Weight Watchers, and of course you're cutting your calories way down. I think my first week I lost 14 pounds. So I lost, over the course of the period of time that I was doing it, for like a year and a half, probably 150 pounds.
Which was amazing.
Yeah, which was amazing. I had some skin removal surgeries in 2012 and 2016, because I was privileged enough to be able to afford that. And so I started working with you in 2018.
Yeah.
And that was really when I found out that I had a different option for weight loss, or not weight loss, but maintenance and health. Because when I did Weight Watchers, I was just restricting food. That's it. I wasn't building muscle. I wasn't maintaining muscle. I wasn't even thinking about that. All I was thinking about was cutting. Less food, less food, less food.
Deny.
And it was kind of miserable. And then as time went by, I couldn't do it anymore, because there's only a certain amount of times, I think, in our lives where you can really deprive like that. And then it just decays. But if you don't have a strong muscle base, if you're not feeding your body, it's just going to come back.
Right. And feeding your brain. And that was
feeding your brain and feeding your spirit with the care that you give yourself, and not depriving yourself, because I think depriving yourself can really hollow you out at some point. But yeah, so that was my journey. And but this approach, I can't stress enough. Like I was socialized. I first started my career with women, and we worked with 200 women, and there was always this culture of like, eat less, diet. We're all going to go on this diet. We're all going to do this. And it was like fine. But I now in hindsight, I'm like, oh, that was a lot
of reprogramming we've had to do.
A lot of reprogramming I've had to do to be like, no, I actually have to eat my macronutrients. I have to give my body the tools it needs, and trust my body to use those things in a good way. Because in the beginning, when I started working with you, I was like, I can't eat this stuff. This is too much. Yep. And it took me a while. It's taken me years to get into this, of understanding like, oh no, I actually need to eat more of the right things, not less of everything.
Yeah, and it's never a straight line. We've had some ups and downs, absolutely. We've had some even crying sessions, which would have been so beneficial, right, for both of us. to get through some of the, because this isn't easy. You know, I don't want to make that seem for people like this is an easy course. It is really challenging to learn, implement, and make changes to your lifestyle, right? And you really want it. We all really want it, but we also have to recognize that it's not easy.
It's not easy, but what makes this program easier is that, like in Weight Watchers, it's like you may go to a monthly meet, or you may go to a weekly meeting, but you sit in a room, they give you a lecture, you maybe chat with a few people, and this is personalized.
Yes, that's right.
This is relational and personalized. Like, you knew us, you got to know us, you talked about us, you thought about us in between sessions. Like, it was way more customized.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. And that's part of our journey together. We did our best. I did our best to support you to where you were at. Some days were good, some days were not. And that is what made this so successful on both of you guys, because you guys showed up. You guys showed up, I showed up, and we worked on this together. So I won't take up too much more of your time because I know you guys are heading off for a vacation, but thank you again. And thank you so awesomely for working through this with me. And I'm happy that you guys have had some amazing results.
We've had some great success. I mean, like, I think I've lost, like, if we're talking about weight, I've lost 15 pounds. A lot of my clothes, like all of my clothes, fit better. It's noticeable to him. I feel like I can notice it too, to little ways. But again, doing it as a couple, they notice things you don't. So, hey, it's not a perk. But I think I've lost, 15, 16 pounds, feel better.
Yeah, you know. And both of you guys actually put on lean muscle mass. You put your shoulders, both of you, like your shoulders got bigger, your chest got bigger, your biceps got bigger, and then in your waist, both of you got lost inches on your waist and your hips and stuff. So you put muscle where you needed to put muscle, which jump started our metabolism, right? Because then they were burning more calories and you kept feeding you more. And that's where the transformation was happening, because your body fat also came down while you were eating more. And that's a real tough one for people to understand, because they think calorie deficit. But when you are eating your macronutrients, you're feeding your body what it needs to be stronger, feel better, you know, and have the energy to sustain a full life, right? So congratulations again, you guys, for the transformation. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
And looking forward to continuing on with this.
Yeah.
Yes, we will do our inspirational monthly calls together for sure. All right, you guys, take care. Have a great time on your trip, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye, Ange.
Bye.